Welcome to the third and last episode of the Proof of Concept podcast with me, your host, Valerie Modani. Today's topic, the life of an independent artist, all the experiences behind the scenes, from live events to entrepreneurship to content creation. We also take a look at West African versus East African music industries. What makes them different? Why is one succeeding more than the other right now? And to have this conversation, I have reached out to a peer of mine in the industry and previous collaborator, singer-rapper Steph Kapela. A flag bearer for Kenyan hip-hop and entertainment, Kapela is one of the city's best rappers and performers, being part of lists like the Jump Off Freshman 2017 list by Homeboys Radio, being nominated for Best Hip Hop Artist in 2018 and Best Hip Hop Collaboration in 2022 at Uncut Hip Hop Awards. With Kapela's knowledge and experience being both an independent self-managing artist and an artist signed to a label, I believe his insight will prove to be super useful for our conversation today. Without further ado, let's get into it. But first, some Kenyan music.
Wacha nianze na samahani, leli mteja hapatikani, kama kipofu kavaa miwani, bado uonekani, mambo ni ngori ni mengi yani, squeezy maisha ni milimani, wezi nipata tu hadharani, niko kasarani, hali gani, huko vipi, huko ndani, sema nami baby, wacha kisirani, hatusikizani, why I find it entertainment, only you could ever take me. That's why I run to you. When you need a shoulder, when you need a soldier, need a Casanova, I could be anything. We could be anything. We could do anything you want. Ring on my neck, got me chain smoking. Nothing is free but the chain's broken. I read your body, the page soaking. Gina ni pay on my page soaking. Speed it up, slow it down. Take your time, you know it's going down. Got the juice, yeah, you know I got the sauce. Got the juice, yeah, you know I got the sauce. Speed it up, slow it down. The way you move, the thing you're doing now. Got the juice, yeah, you know I got the sauce. Got the juice, yeah, you know I got the sauce. She be the type that embarrass you. You know that I got an attitude. Fly when she giving me gratitude. Just in case I be packing the parachute. We won't get it right on the first date. Might as well give it up on the first date. On the first date. That's all I wanted in the first place. But you better be good to a bad girl. Know what you do when you bad girl. Know where you go when you mad girl. Know why you wanna be that girl. Akibebe siwezi kucheza, akibebe siwezi teleza. Niko busy shughuli za pesa, mapazi chakula kwa meza. Umependeza, inashukuru wazazi vile wamekutengeneza. Umeniweza, umenibamba, nipe namba cheki na kubembeleza. Oh Ebeneza, inatamani amani, manzi flani ananitesa, tafuta pesa. Siku bado mina kesha. You better break it down, you better break it down, babe. You better break it down, you better break it down, babe. Break it down, break it down, break it down. Save me now, save me now. Speed it up, slow it down. Take your time, you know it's going down. Got the juice, yeah, you know I got the sauce. Got the juice, yeah, you know I got the sauce. Speed it up, slow it down. The thing you're doing now. Got the juice, yeah, you know I got the sauce. Got the juice, yeah, you know I got the sauce.
The Proof of Concept podcast. And today we have a special guest in the building, Mr. Steph Kapela. Say hi to the listeners, Steph.
Hey listeners, how y'all doing? It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Valerie, for having me. Yeah.
Well, so what do you do, Mr. Kapela? What is your occupation?
I am a musician by trade, rapper slash singer. I do quite very many genres. I don't have a specific one yet. But I just love music. Whatever vibe I'm feeling in the moment, that's pretty much what I'm gonna do.
Okay, and me and you and I, rather, we have collaborated on one or two projects. You got to do you reached out to do the remix of my song.
I did.
And we also have a song that we on together with Hook and Motoria.
Yes.
And we performed this song quite a few times. It's always great times.
Yes.
But you are a phenomenal artist and entrepreneur, and musician. That I had to have you so we can just have a chit chat on a couple of things in this industry I want to talk about and get into and see if we can solve these problems.
I see.
And create a way for the generation to come, something that they can reference. And so, let's get into it, shall we?
Sure.
Okay. So the topic of today is the life of an independent artist, experiences behind the scenes.
Right.
What we want to do is, through our conversation and with both our years of experience in this industry, just shed a light on the things we've seen, the things we've gone through, the things that we've learned from, that people don't have to go through the same mistakes.
Right.
So that brings me to, how many years has it been officially?
Like doing music?
Yeah, professionally, gigging, making music, making money from music.
I'd say something like 2017 to 6 years.
6 years.
Like 6 years professionally making money, recording, gigging, all that. But I've been doing music for way longer than that.
Really? Let's start from the beginning, shall we? Where did it really start?
Jesus,
were you a kid performer?
Right after high school, right after high school, that's really when I got into it. A little bit, at least for a year, and then went to the States.
What age did you go to the States?
21, something like that. 21, yeah.
To a ripe age of 21. I'm sure you had a lot of ideas and plans.
Yeah, sure. You can call them that. But yeah. For quite a while. I can't even say I started pursuing music when I was close to 25, really, really pursuing it. And I've been pursuing it ever since. So yeah,
that's where we are now.
Quite a minute, yeah.
So, but it's been in you. So, I'm curious. When you were in the States, were you making music or thinking of making music, or were you just enjoying the music, the new culture? And
when I first went, I honestly didn't do any kind of music. I was there strictly for 4 years. I wanted to go to school, get done, come back. I had a girlfriend. I loved her very much.
Aww.
And that was the plan, but you know how these things go. So I didn't get into music until the first time I did it was probably 2009. This is when a friend of mine, who's still my friend till this day, came from Kenya to the States and was like, I know you.
What? Someone recognized you?
Off of Tasker Project fame, believe it or not.
You did Tasker Project fame?
Yeah.
That is something you mentioned for sure.
But
how far did you get?
That's why I don't talk about it. It didn't go well at all.
It's okay. It's the experience that you're there for.
I learned quite a bit.
Yeah.
Forgot and then relearned it later. But so he recognized me from Tasker Project fame and he was like, nakujua the TPF, sindio nilikuwa na TPF. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, bro, you can sing. We should do something. And
that was it. That was the beginning of it. He looked for me. He wanted me to sing a hook on his one of his songs. We actually recorded a few places at first, and it wasn't good. Like
it was the cardboard makeshift cupboards.
Let me tell
studios.
Let me tell you. Like that's all the studios that were there. First of all, those are the only ones we had. But
use what you got.
But the problem was, like, the mix would always be terrible, and my guy was ahead of his time. Like my guy was the kind of guy who was like, yo, we do it, we drop it, and we go forward. Like we don't
care about it because of excuses.
We keep it going.
Yeah.
But I hated like the first two mixes. I was like, nah, if this is music, I don't think I was good. Remember, I've already been kicked out of TPF. So I'm feeling like maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was.
Right, maybe I need to reconsider.
And then you know how when you first record, you hear yourself and you're like,
it's in this rawest
cringe.
form.
It's like, what? I sound like this? I always thought I sounded different.
Yeah.
But
we forget about the process that it takes to get to usually the final product that we usually hear.
But after that, when we first did the song, and then we had a proper engineer, I've been sold ever since.
How was that experience?
It was everything. It was like I listened. That's the first time I listened to a song. Like me, when I get a mix from the engineer, I usually listen to it like 100+ times, like just over and over and over and over. That was the first time that happened, so yeah.
You fell in love. I love that you heard yourself in a way that maybe you hadn't heard it before, and you're like, oh, this sounds nice.
I was like, I knew I was good.
I knew I could do it. I knew I could do it. I love that for you. So what actually made you come back home here?
That was quite an experience for me, to be honest. It's not something I talk about a lot. First of all, I don't think it's something that I'm ready to talk about until when I just get ready for it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily a choice more than it was a necessity. So when I got back, I had to even take some time off. Like 2015 yote, like I was just completely lost. But then 2016, 2017, that's when I started getting back. But it's been the best decision.
I'm glad.
It's been the best decision. I couldn't see it in the beginning.
Right.
But if you ask me now, like where would I rather be, in the States or be here? Like I'd be here anytime.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I feel like we share that similarity in that way where, well, I was born in the States and I lived there and I moved here. But if anybody asks me, like, would you go back? Do you want to go back? It's like right now with the climate of the Kenyan music industry right now, I would never leave. Like, I want to establish, there's things I have to do here first before I start going out. Right. But speaking of the Kenyan music industry, when you came back home, what was like the climate, not the industry, because I'm sure, I don't know if you were here as an artist, maybe in that capacity yet, right. But as a consumer, what were you hearing on radio? What was the culture like? Were there events you would, what was it like around that time?
When I first came back, honestly, it took a while to even start listening to music, but not that long, like a few months. But when I did start listening to music, of course, you had your Sauti Souls, you had your... At that time, even Mudhoni Drama Queen, like there were quite a few. Yeah, there were quite a few artists. There was a lot of what you call it? Kina Timitidat type vibes. So it wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, because remember, I'm coming from every day it's Drake, it's whatever,
What was it different in like your music like palette, and what was?
You should hear my first songs I did when I first got to Kenya.
You're singing back Chris Brown. I need you, baby.
Bro. That's how you go check out my SoundCloud, like from back in the day. Wow.
Is it still there?
I'm pretty sure it is.
I'm gonna look for it,
man. But yeah, I had to kind of like switch up and start listening, because I was also very adamant. I didn't want to start doing like songs in Swa or when I first came back. Why was that? You're like, because I had been pursuing music in the States. I had been doing it, and I remember you and I talked off air kidogo about like holding on to stuff that you were doing before. So when I was in the States, I was doing a lot of hip hop. I had started doing hip hop, not just hip hop, but everything in English.
Yeah.
I had gone through a period of where the Kenyans over there, they're like,
He's
out
here rapping
and then every time I'd perform for white people or I'd perform for like Americans, that like really get interested. And I was like, me, I'm switching. You guys don't even understand what I'm saying. Let me switch so that they can understand me. And I'd worked on it for a while, so I was already in that space. I didn't want to let that go. So when I get back to Kenya and I did my first song and it was almost all in English. And even though you'd get, those few people on SoundCloud, like,
appreciating
your
shit,
the majority by far weren't feeling it. And by the time I started working with Atwal, it was just like,
that's still Kenyan. Actually, still very, But it's so interesting because knowing the music you make now and the pilkas and Wewe Nani and the way. What, like, Steph back then came back, he's like, nah, this is what I've been doing, this is what works for me.
And it's good to
be different. If I want to rap in English, I'm going to rap in English and they'll tell me. But to now, what was the change? Like,
what
changed?
I think I first did, it must have been like, Got the Sauce. Not even Got the Sauce. I did a few tracks in Swahili because Atwala, the guy I was working with, the label I was at the time, was very much like, yo, why don't put some Swahili. And at first I didn't want to, but eventually I got to it. And when I did, it's like now people could identify like, aya umse ni Mkenya, like aya umse ni wetu. Oh, it was like so then I started getting more fans. I started getting more people who wanted to like actually
You're reaching your
people. Music. Yeah, so the more that happened, the more I was like, even I was convinced that okay, I really need to like really focus on putting some more soul in the music.
Do you feel like you've reached a good balance there, or do you ever feel guilty like, oh, I miss hood rapper Steph Kapela with the
don't make me pull out the strap. Nah. No, I'd say yeah, sometimes I think I did reach a balance, but I also surpassed it kidogo. There was a time I went full Swahili and completely stopped doing like any English songs whatsoever. And I really focused on getting my Swahili like type vibes better and better and better. But then like Akina Kali started doing like all full English songs and whatever. And then there's been like lately there's been like a resurgence where like a lot of people are starting to do more English because the international markets are starting to pay attention.
Yep.
So I went all the way to just Swahili, then back up to like where now I'm mixing it up because just that's who I am now. Right.
Okay, so you are an independent artist, meaning you're not signed to any label.
No.
As am I. We are alike in that sense. And also, as of now, I don't know if it's okay for me to say, but you don't have a manager. Is it public? Or rather, you...
I do not. I have not signed a management agreement with anyone.
There we go.
That's true.
So, how many years has it been now? How long has it been now in this stage of your career, and how has it been? The best parts, the worst parts?
I think I couldn't say I was independent until, let's say, close to mid 2021, because I hopped off of one label. Like I got dropped. I didn't hop on that. I got dropped from one label, and then I started working with Calivan Creatives almost immediately. pretty much immediately. And then that grew and grew into quite something, and then we also couldn't get to like a point of agreeing. So by the time I stopped working with Caliban, it must have been like maybe mid 2021, something like that. But we still remained good friends, still shot videos together even after that.
I love that.
But being independent is hard. First of all, it's very tough. It's very tough. It's very expensive. It requires a lot of your time. Trying to be the artist and also your own manager or your own label is also quite difficult. But it's also a lot of freedom. It's also a lot of freedom to make your own mistakes and make your own decisions. Be proud of your successes and your failures.
Pick yourself up from those failures. No one's there to tell you.
and it teaches, and there's no one to blame. There's no one to be like, yo, you didn't do this, or you should have done this, or so it's quite freeing. But with freedom comes a lot of responsibility.
I love that. If you were to sign to any label, I'm talking any Rock Nation, Columbia, whatever, would you, like, on your, on, of course, with your own terms, your lawyer and on deck, or would you rather, because I know now, like, we've seen artists like Brent Fayez, he's independent, but he's signed with like deals with like United Masters, where he's reaping all the benefits that labels try to entice you with. So he's made it global mainstream with an independent, still being independent. Or would you rather just have signed to a label you trust that has already built these connections? And
I think I'd remain independent. If there's a big lesson that I've learned so far, is that you can be the best of friends. Even you can be very trusting, and even maybe the label can trust you, but that can also end. No matter how good it is, like it can end. And when it does end, if it does end, having somebody who like owns you when you're not on good terms is never a thing you want to go through. And I've gone through that twice. So
freedom is
I think I'd rather set it up like I'd rather set up like my own team, like a professional team, because at the end of the day, even the labels, it's just individuals, it's just people, and those people, they just have the connections. So you find those people who have the connections and pretty much your own label. Like
that's true. This new age of music and music industry that we live in, the labels are really becoming obsolete. We don't really need them as much as they need us now. Love that for us. Take back the power, artists.
It's about time.
Okay, so we'll take a little music break right there, and we'll come back and we'll discuss Steph Kapela, the content creator. All right, sawa.
Cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head.
The king is alive, another night survived. Waiting for the coup, no clue when it arrives. Enemies all around him, moving closer to his section. He's already been to war, been at war with his reflection. I pray you make it safe, waterways can't wait. When you rise to the occasion, you fall for the bait. Yeah, I used to have a conscience, but it's out of my system. I'd rather be a villain than becoming a victim. Sina time ya maswali za ujinga niko faa. Kani beef unaleta harakisha niko njaa. Kuna time ningesema mola tanipigania. Sio Mungu pekee, pia mimi najiaminia.
Why you wanna say my name with the caution? I will run up in your face, it's an option. Get back, it's a problem. Get back, it's a problem. Why you wanna say my name with the caution? I will run up in your face, it's an option. Get back, it's a problem. Get back, it's a problem.
Listen. I'm the wrong one to mess with. You tryna lock me out, I'm coming in through the exit. The game was feels like it's something, man. I feel like the best fit. Money ain't the answer, I got no time for the question. I hear people speaking foul, so sicko crowd. Most Nico city rounds, Nicky Saka, his brown nose. Trying to turn the signature into an autograph. All I need the money, power, respect. I'm in for all of that. Got no time for the lame jokes. I turn the TV off cause I'm tired of the same folks. But make it hard for me and you to get along. Lead us on this time, they better do what they came for. Case closed.
Tahadhari, tafadhali, siko ubaya but please cheza mbali. Juu of late nika kila mahali kuna msee ana plan vile atanipora mali. Form ni gani no mwana kichwa kila day paranoia sijui nani. Nani mreal nani fake, nani best, nani anadai 2K. Too many sheep around but macho ni za ma wolf. Wana come fluff sidanganyiki na the wool. I never do true na keep to my cool. Even though me on a move sijui about you but please usifanye nikuje juu.
Why you wanna say my name with the caution? I will run up in your face, you know it's an option. Get back, it's a problem. Get back, it's a problem. Why you wanna say my name with the caution? I will run up in your face, you know it's an option. Get back, it's a problem. Get back, it's a problem.
Walk through the darkness, leader of the force. We cannot be forced, you cannot enforce. Twin star, real star, it cannot be caused. Doing like the most, lady on the boss. Double cup, fill the cup, it's a dream team. Took a win-win, up in the air, switch go where. Took a nani na madakitare in the building. It's a big deal, it's a real thing. I will keep it going up. Cause and we keep you looking like oh gosh, an attraction is the theme. What shall you believe in to sipatane kunjia terrorize this year, yeah?
Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head.
Why you wanna say my name with the caution? I will run up in your face, you know it's an option. Get back, it's a problem. Get back, it's a problem.
Okay, so we are back. And I wanted to know, Steph Kapela, what do you love the most about the Kenyan music industry? Or the Kenyan music entertainment industry at large right now? Yes.
I think I think finally there's enough space for everyone, and more importantly, there's enough. Not enough, maybe, but we are getting there. There's enough attention on us.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I feel like we in Kenya in particular, we are always fighting the foreign media. Like we're always fighting foreign media to be allowed a space to be heard. And I think now even just the type of gigs we have now and the variety of gigs we have now, like we have stand-up in Kenya finally, and it's doing well.
Right.
We have what I don't know what Akina Kena can be described like. Crazy Kena.
Oh, comedian. Yeah.
Like
it's
the
so
things they do on
diverse.
stage, I don't know, but the content.
It's good, and it took him to South Africa. He's doing tourism in South Africa.
I'm so proud of where we are now.
Yeah.
I mean the Soul Fests, the Shin Cities, you couldn't have this like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So we are coming of age. We are finally coming of age, and it's a grand time to be an artist.
It is. I say that all the time.
It's a beautiful time to be an artist, and it's a beautiful time more so because now I know what our kids are going to inherit. Like
we're setting it up for the next generation. Like
if
I said,
we're having this,
they're gonna be eating good. So one thing I love is that even though the systems we have haven't been working, we're creating them up for ourselves.
Yes.
Mudhani Drama Queen is creating schools, perform for music professionals.
Facts.
With Santuri DJ. There's so much that we're doing for ourselves. That we're writing in the books of history books, like this chapter. We're not waiting for Sony Music to come and inject money and make labels. We're doing it ourselves, and that's so powerful.
We're not even waiting for MCSK to get their act together.
Right.
Like people are using Hustle Sasa. People are using Mook. People are using what's the other one that I'm forgetting its name? But people are using my tickets and whatever. People are using their own.
They're selling through the direct to consumer,
direct to fan. And so now you're no longer like MCSK is not paying me my 2,500.
You gotta make it yourself.
Now I can actually go out here and talk to my fans directly, and they'll support. They'll come. So really and truly, the game is changing. It used to be so
visibly,
negative.
It's visibly changing.
It used to be so bad. It used to be every time. But I finally feel like we're getting somewhere now where we don't have to anymore.
Right, and even we have artists like, and she's even gonna be a guest on the show, Crystal Asige, who is the senator now. She's a senator.
By the
way. And she proposed in Parliament that we should have a musicians union, and I love that we have reached a place that the people in authority, the people in power are now the creatives.
Exactly.
The people running the festivals are the creatives. People fighting for our rights are creatives,
Yep.
I love to see that.
It's happening.
I love to see that. Okay, so Mr. Kapela. So every Monday you have a series of videos called The Morning Dose of Motivation.
Yes.
AKA Mdomo. And you speak to your people very candidly about what's on your mind. And I'm very curious, when did it start? How did it start? When did you get into this? Did you think you're going as a content creator, or you were just speaking your mind when you started?
The funny thing is, thank God this is our podcast. The thing is, those are things I always tell myself. Like 99% of the time when I'm talking, I'm not talking to everyone. I'm talking to myself most of the time. And to be honest, it really helps. I always choose to do it right after a workout, because that's when you're feeling
we see. You say I'm a sweat up, I'm a valia vest.
So like that's the time where you feel the most motivated, like right after you've completed a workout, like
serotonin levels are high. I know.
And so I just sometimes I just feel like sometimes it's something that I was thinking about the night before. Sometimes it just came to me during the workout. Sometimes it's something I've held for a while, but I always feel like I've had this several times. Like human beings are like one. We are all like the same.
All one and the same, even though we're so different, for sure.
It's just the same consciousness experiencing itself through different whatever.
Come on, preach about consciousness. So, yes, sir.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I feel like what I'm going through, probably someone else is going through the same thing. And if I can speak to myself and them, I mean, if just one person, can like help themselves with what I'm doing, then like I can just imagine that ripple effect of that guy can probably change his or her life, change their family lives.
Leads me to ask, when you're consistent with something like that, what I assume happens is you build a relationship with your not just your followers but your committed fans.
Right.
And so do you think you've unlocked like a new relationship with the people that follow you? Because like, do they interact with you? Do you guys have conversations?
Yeah.
It does.
Not even just in the comments, especially the DMs, because I talk about sensitive stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys don't want to put it in the comments that like this was really for me. I've really been going through something. So they'll hit your DM and they'll tell you, thank you for this. Truly, like I've been going through such and such, and this was
feel seen.
So I think it really is helping, and it's helping me too, because you also get to hold yourself now accountable, because you can't be out here preaching and then
you go around and you're not even believing in yourself.
Exactly.
Wow. I agree. I feel like with the way the social media works sometimes, or I feel like things are changing now, but how I used to work with public figures is that you can't, back then, you couldn't be vulnerable. Or if you're vulnerable, it's not that you couldn't be vulnerable, it's that if you're vulnerable, you're very prone to attacks. People are like wanna like, oh, you feel this way because this, and then people just want to fight for the sake of fighting. And so at the end of the day, you're like, is it even worth it? So it takes a lot to do that, and you're doing that. And I think when people see that, they feel like, oh, I know Kapela, even though I don't know him, but he's just like me. That's my brother, that's my friend. And I think that's a great thing that you're doing.
And they will attack. I mean, they have, so
they still will. They exist. They'll always exist.
That's fine. That's completely fine.
Yeah.
I think any form of true success always comes with a level of hate. It always comes with a level of envy.
Yeah.
So that will always be a thing. I don't mind it. Like, hey, I've been hated on. I've posted some things called a TikTok where I've had like people like
who is this guy? Bro. Who does he think he is?
And back I just linger, like I completely linger the comment section. I don't like whenever I do something and it goes like viral or semi-viral, and the comments are like over 1,000. Me bro, even
good night. I'm going to bed. Yeah, because it can go dark real fast.
Very fast.
Yeah, I think it's knowing that. So I think even just the artists that are listening, upcoming artists, I think it's so important to utilize your vulnerability and not just hide it in a closet and think you need to be this sunny superstar all the time, because that's eventually what people, that's how you gain your tribe, you find your people. So of course kuna the risk, manze. You'll always risk. I mean, trolls exist everywhere, if not even if not on social media, in real life. People will be mean for no good reason, because they've had a bad day. For any reason. Anyway, child. So I want to know, what has been, and by who, what is the most useful advice you've been given regarding navigating this music scene, this Kenyan music scene?
I have to collect my thoughts on that one.
Think about it.
I don't know if I don't know if I can pinpoint any one piece of advice, because honestly you live and you learn every day.
True.
But I think the most important thing is knowing yourself. And it's hard sometimes to know you. Oh my God, it's so hard to know yourself. I
know that
this industry, especially as like this music industry, is so comparative. Like,
and fast-paced.
It's constantly people are trying to make sure that you match up or you level up to like what they expect you to be. And when you know you are not there, it can be very, very
scary,
disheartening.
Yeah.
It can be it can make you stagnant.
Yeah.
So to know yourself, to know that you're dope, even when you don't feel you have the attention, even when you feel like other people don't know how dope you are, to know and to believe that, I think but it's such a process. I don't want to lie to anyone.
I know that one takes years of self-development and self-awareness.
I know myself.
I love myself.
And it just works. No, it takes time.
You have to be intentional about it. It doesn't just happen.
Exactly.
You have to work on it.
True.
Wow. Yeah. Stay true to yourself. It's cliche, but it's true.
It's very cliche, but the most cliche things, the most
are the
basic
realest
things.
Truths. But yeah, they're the realest truths, unfortunately or unfortunately.
Just don't tell
it is what it is.
Don't tell them it's not going to take 2 days. It might take 2 years.
Yeah. Okay. So on your, me, I'm a fan of your TikTok. It's very fun.
Thank you.
Hapo unatuchezea, you play for us, you show us the live shows, and then you give us some demo videos. So one of your videos that I feel like they went viral was the Marvin Records West African record labels investing millions and millions of money into I mean, they ain't gonna hear this, they ain't gonna see this. These West African record labels investing millions of dollars into their artists so that it can put the artists in the best place internationally with marketing and even these streamings, we don't know if we're all legit. We don't know, or
but
getting them. But anyway, let's not get into that version today. But yeah, I wanted to ask first of all, if you could tell us, for the people that haven't seen the video, tell us what give us a brief of what you're talking about, and then maybe I can ask the question about it.
So basically, I was trying to make people aware that the reason why a lot of people don't hear they don't hear and they don't like a lot of Kenyan music is because they've been conditioned to like a lot of West African music and even Tanzanian music for that matter. And what I said basically was the truth. Like, those labels are spending a lot of money. Like, they have a collective strategy where they spend a lot of money to get their records on rotation constantly in Kenya, especially when they're around dropping an album or something. It wasn't a secret. Like, Nigerian artists started coming to Kenya just to do media tours. Right. Like I've not released anything. I don't have anything.
This is doing good PR.
Yeah, but I'm
PR.
here and I've paid like a huge amount of money to just go around radio stations and introduce myself and whatever. And you're like, but you don't have a new song.
That's the way we've been conditioned to think about PR. You go on radio promo when you have a song out, but no, them they're actively round the clock.
They're here and they're doing it. And I'm like, us guys are such wonderful, open people. We are always willing to take stuff from wherever it's coming from. But yet, when it comes to ours, we want to really scrutinize. We want to really be like, you know, like you really want to be critical of our music, but you keep like just
feeding into these other.
And I really wondered why, and then you realize that the radio stations are playing like these songs back to back.
It's programming.
TV, the DJs, when they are mixing, it's the same thing. And I'm like, yo, why don't you play more Kenyan music?
Right.
And then you if you just check the comment section, you'll realize that it's not their fault. They've just been conditioned. Because
supply demand, that's what people are like demanding, I guess.
How can you tell me that, yo, we're playing what the people want, and then everybody in my comment section is telling me, so nataka tusikize kaveve kazoze. I'm like, is that the only Kenyan song you know? But that's the one that trended. That's the one that trended. So that's how it got to you. It got to you because that media was pushed to you. And because that's what you know, you're like, then Kenyans only give me Kaveve Kazoze, but you don't know anything else.
Yeah.
So if they also keep giving you Nigerian music over and over and Tanzanian music over, that's you go like, that's the kind of music I like.
Yeah.
So that's all you hear.
Subconscious. Wow. Okay. So in that case, we've discussed some of them, but what are the main differences you think we have with the Nigerian? Maybe we can even add the South Africans in the chat between the Kenyan music industry, South African music industry, West African music industry. What do you think? What do you see them doing differently that we like?
Number one, they consume their own content. Majority above and beyond. It's in the law. It's not just like, oh, we decided that we love us. Like, it was put into law that you must play 70, 90, 95% local music. And with that, with the increased attention, like, comes competition. And then the cream of the crop rises, like, it rises to the top, right? So, like, the diamonds in Tanzania it's not a lucky shot. Like, they've created a system. Like,
Wasafi, let me tell you, if we need a case study of successful labels run in Africa, aside from Marvin, is Wasafi.
Clearly.
What?
Clearly, above and beyond.
Their ship is run tight.
Like, seriously, like, nobody plays over there. Like, very serious. Like, all the way from how the song is written, all the way to how the song is consumed. It's a serious system. So, I mean, to be honest with you, I lost my train of thought.
It'd be like that, but you know what? I can pick it up for you because I feel like Sauti Sol, well, they're sort of learning or trying to, or taking notes from their peers like in Akina Wasafi with Sojan was like a pilot, and I see they're starting to do these press play. They're trying to do like a girl group, so they've done artist management, which is something that I'm so grateful for now. We have people understand the concept of investing in artist management. These girls they've been taken through like a program where they're being taught by Chiki, they've been taught by Lisa Odworno for songwriting. It's an incubating program, and I'm like, wow, this is so beautiful to see. Like we didn't have this back in the day.
Nope.
It's you and YouTube, and even before YouTube, you still, just So
we're getting there. We're
getting there. I feel like calling back to something you said earlier on is that we're on the brink of international. Like I can feel it, I can smell it, I can taste it.
The next 2 years are going to be crazy.
Yeah, quite the way these colors, Spotify and Color Studio did this collaboration. It's the beginning.
Watch the next 2 years.
It's about to be crazy.
And we're gonna be right in there.
We gonna be in the mix. Hello. And we're back. Welcome to the Proof of Concept podcast with your host, Valerie Modani, and your guest,
Steph Kapela.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about something a bit controversial.
Okay.
And it's only controversial because of the experiences you and I both have had. Some of them we've seen together. Some we've experienced separately. We're going to talk about the Kenyan music events industry in Kenya. There's usually quite a contrast in experiences at these Kenyan events for the artist and the consumer. There's the way they see it and they enjoy it, and the way we've seen it and the behind the scenes. There's a lot of mistreatment and unprofessionalism that goes on, and artists are still expected to show up, be professional, do the job, appease the crowd, keep it pushing, even though you've been mistreated, but then we don't get paid the same respect. Let's talk about it. What's your experience with this?
I think every artist goes through this. First of all, I think every artist, like I don't care where in the world you are, you've probably done a show. You've done free shows. But then on top of that, you've done shows where you are supposed to get paid, and then so the truth is, I don't think it's industry thing. I just think it's a people thing. I'm gonna get a little weird here, but stay with me. We trip about corruption in the country, right? We everyone's always like, we are corruption. But there's this quote that says your leaders are a reflection of the people, right? And as much as we would like to be like, our government is so corrupt, people are corrupt from soldier to CEO. You get everyone, people are corrupt everywhere. Everyone is going to look for where they can screw you and keep more for themselves. It's human nature, and we are no exception. So me personally, having gone through stuff like this, now I know it's just a matter of people are just looking for a way to keep more.
They're thinking of themselves, yeah.
But there's definitely things you can do to try to mitigate or try to whatever, but it's not easy. It's not easy, especially when you're an up and coming artist. You don't have any leverage to be like, I'm not getting on stage.
This my rider was not fulfilled. They're like, who is you? You either get on or you get out.
Exactly.
So okay, then in that case, since you have experienced this, all artists, to be honest, have experienced this. What would you say are the things now, knowing what you know, you move forward? How do you move knowing what you know? So for me, for example, I will never go on a stage unless the 50% deposit is paid, or things like that. What's one or two things that have to happen in your standard of working that, with the experience you've had with Kenyan event organizers, especially?
For starters, that's it. Like the deposit has to be down. Like that's something that we really hold, right? But also there's a level of, I don't know, knowing someone, right? There are people in the industry who you trust, you've known them for a long time, and if they tell you like, hey, I don't have the depot, but you perform, I got you, and it's someone you truly know and you truly trust, right?
Yeah, trust is the key word here.
Exactly.
Credibility.
And in those type of situations, and they're very rare, very, very rare, because the people who know you the most will want to pay you because they know what you've been through. They know, they know exactly how shady this industry is, and they know what you've gone through with it. So there's always those rare cases where you have to be like, okay, this is my boy, or like I believe in what this person is trying to do, and if he's telling me like right now I don't have it yet, but I'm gonna have it, like I'm trying to build this thing and I know he's trying to build this thing, I might just go ahead and do it. And even if I don't get paid from it, like at least I love this person and I trust this person enough to be like,
I need to use discernment at the end of the day. Sometimes, like you said, that's a special cases for the people that you have built years of trust. Yani they've showed up for you, you've shown up for them in that relationship. But with these people that are profit driven, that don't care about the artist experience, don't care about
and then I'm not even getting on stage till you clear the balance.
The balance, hello. Because people want to start looking mteja after the event, and we've seen it all before.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Those ones afadhali hata mteja, afadhali amezima simu na unaona amezima. Ule anaacha tu ring.
He's just watching it ring as you. It's like, oh, atachoka tu.
That is a special case.
Yeah.
That is a special case.
We've dealt with all of them.
Yeah.
If we started talking about it here, we would not end this podcast.
I won't even. Like it's a bad place to be.
It is. It's very triggering. It's very. But that's even why I think we're talking about like the need for necessity management is like dealing with people like that. It really messes you up as an artist before you go on stage. Like for example, not to trigger you, but like in the latest event we did where I came on and I did a song during a set. But it's like it messes even with your head before you go on stage. You're supposed to be zenning out. You're supposed to be preparing, to give a great show. But instead, you're worrying about, this hasn't arrived. They haven't sent this. They're telling you this. Then they change their mind. They want this.
And it was so rough. It was so rough to.
Yeah, it was.
And you're absolutely right. Like it does mess with your mindset. Like as soon as you get up on stage, like you're still trying to recover from like, okay, let me just get my mind. Let me do what I'm here to do, and then we'll deal with this other crap later. But it messes bad with you. It really does. Watch it. No,
but they'll get what's coming to them. They never last. Some of those, one of the worst event organizers I've worked with, they're no longer in business because it takes. And even I saw lately someone else was exposed. It just unfortunately, even though it takes some time, the truth comes to light. The shady stuff is always going to be exposed, at the end of the day. So thank God. Thank there is a God of justice because anyway, as we start to wind up this conversation, I'm curious to know what change would you like to leave behind? What mark would you like to leave behind as Steph Kapela in this industry?
I think I'd like to leave behind the idea that you can be your true self. And your true self can be so vast and different from everyone else. And that's what makes it your true self. Like, sometimes I think about like the people who are like trendsetters and whatever. But I look at what the trends that they're setting and I'm like, but that's at least still close to what is around Nini. Sometimes, like for example, I grew up pretty much on American music. Like I grew up with hip hop, I grew up with R&B, so by the time I started making music, even the very first song I ever wrote before I left Kenya, the one that I did after TPF. The song sounded so, I don't know, foreign, I guess, in a way. Like the very, very first song that I ever
Stuck
did.
out from what was
completely.
moment.
Nothing sounded like it.
Yeah.
And like I always felt guilty for a long time. Because I wasn't doing, I didn't feel like doing, and I wasn't doing anything that sounded, I guess, very local. And that haunted me and has haunted me for a long time. Because I've always tried to be like, yeah, okay, Sawa, you're an artist, but you're also an entertainer. And entertainers, it's not their job to get up on there and teach. It's their job to get up there and give the people what they want.
Yeah.
So it's been a hard road, but if I'd leave anything, I want, and I think I started. I think
You've planted the seeds.
Yeah. You can be yourself no matter what that looks like.
Yeah.
No matter what it looks like, and you can be successful at it as long as you understand it's not a feeling, it's not a statement, it's action. So
Yeah, that is beautiful. Wow. Now, you are a visionary, Mr. Kapela, Steph Kapela, one of a kind. Hakuna mtu kama wewe.
goddamn.
And I feel like the world is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. People are gonna catch up and be like, oh, who is this guy? And people years from now are gonna be studying your work, studying your music, studying the way you maneuvered, And so I think you're setting a good foundation for the generations to come. So I'm giving you your flowers.
Thank you.
Is there anyone that you in this industry, music, rapper, peer, even if they're not an artist, that you want to shout out that you believe deserves their own flowers for the impact they've left in this industry and for making it a better place, a person that makes this space a better place?
I think I'd say there's two answers to that. The first answer, I'd say I want to thank someone like BN. Even Sauti Soul and Soul Gen, like even as a whole, how they all operate together. But I just love the idea that like it's been a while since we've had that Kenyan superstar, that guy who's not just the biggest thing or close to the biggest thing in Kenya, but also internationally speaking. And I think excuse me, I think BN is like one of the very, very, very few. Like it's very hard even for me right now to think in my head and come up with someone who I believe can do the same kind of thing. Maybe Kali, and that's about it. So yes, I definitely want to thank someone like BN and shout out someone like BN for opening the doors that is opening, because now we are all going to come through that door. But also, there are those up and coming artists that we haven't even started paying attention to. You see, me and you, we've been lucky enough to have been in the industry. Like I think we knew each other and started like 2018, 2017 up or 20 year. So there are people who started like last year or whatever, but they're so good. They're so good at what they do. And you're like, oh, I can't wait for you to get your moment. And I hope you don't change from this to go and start doing what the mainstream wants you to do because you want to make it. Like there's someone like Jaquil, there's someone like Lelaika. I just worked with Lelaika the other day and she played me her album and I was like, God,
people are working.
Yeah,
they're talented. The Mali and the Kinoti and the Ethan Muzikis and the
you're like, what?
They're so talented. Selling out KCC to do shows like this. I'm in awe of these new artists.
I don't know.
Rock
I don't know
stars.
If it's the content. I don't know if it's they just created
It's just the age that we're in. The day in music that we're in.
There are very big artists right now in the game that cannot do what Kinoti and Ethan are doing.
Very
many.
Facts.
Very, very many.
Facts.
So shout out to them.
Shout out to them. Thank you so much for coming on my show and giving us the wisdom and the knowledge that we can use to understand this music industry of ours. You know, we always have people on Twitter talking up a storm about the kind of music industry, what it needs, what it doesn't, what it but I think it's different when you sit down and have a conversation and dissect, oh, it's like this, why is it like this, what can we change, what are we leaving behind, you know? So I'm really grateful for these conversations, and thank you for coming.
It was fun. Anytime, you can call me anytime.
For sure. And that is it, folks, from me, Valerie Mudhani, and your guest,
Steph Kapela.
It's been the Proof of Concept podcast, and we're out.